Well, bowling fans, we're back again today. New Berlin Bowl, the site of the 2011 Wisconsin Women's Open. And Joey, we cannot ask for four finer women to be on the TV finals.
Yeah, and no clear-cut favorite. I mean, even though we have experience in Lisa Vint and Jaime Cullen, Rochelle, quality player, great bloodline. Jessica from Janesville area, great game, great physical game. It's anybody's match. Challenging lane condition as well.
Yeah, tough lane condition. No gimmies on the lanes for any of the ladies that'll be bowling out there. Joey and I are going to be back with our opening match from New Berlin Bowl in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you stay tuned. 28 state-of-the-art lanes. A variety of food and beverage to satisfy your tastes in the ale house or on the lanes. Banquet facilities available for your 2011 holiday parties or 2012 weddings. New Berlin Ale House, Cleveland Avenue, New Berlin. Oh, with me here again, Dwight Albrecht from Spare Time Pro Shop in New Berlin Bowling. And Dwight, you're hosting a new outlet for local and national bowling news on the radio.
Yeah, Phil, we're real excited about it. It's going to be on WSSP 1250 AM on Sunday mornings from 8 to 9. And we're going to be discussing the local news. We're going to have a local spotlight section, and then we're going to have a PBA Pro call-in every week.
And if you missed the live broadcast or you live outside of WSSP's broadcast area, you can always catch those podcasts at sportsradio1250.com. The opening match from New Berlin Bowl, the 2011 Wisconsin Women's Open. And Joey, we got Jessica Lesagonicz leading things off.
And is this her first time, Phil, on televised finals?
First time on a televised finals. Just recently moved to the Janesville area, took a job in Beloit, and bowling a lot of the tournament action around Wisconsin. Nice, simple four-step, fluid through the bottom of the swing. And how about that tripping the 4-9?
Yeah, that's a nice way to start. Very contemporary game.
And now a bowler we haven't seen on TV since the 2009 Badger Queens, where she finished in second place to her sister Roxanne George. We've got Rochelle Macke up.
And now her sister's good, right? She's good.
Yep.
And maiden name Zawistowski, correct? Is
yes.
how you pronounce it. They're both quality right-handed players, Phil. How would you discern the differences between each of their games, comparing them side by side?
Comparing them side by side, Rochelle plays the lanes just a little bit straighter most of the time than Roxanne does. Other than that, if you're watching them from behind and didn't know the difference, you'd probably think it was the same bowler.
Right. Unusually good balance at the foul line, good timing, good tempo. Rev rate pretty similar?
Rev rates are pretty similar, maybe a hair more for Roxanne, but both players very, very accurate, and they've both put up a lot of honor scores in the leagues they bowl in this season.
And Rochelle, if people noticed, is using a very colorful spare ball. It's the new Hammer Taboo polyester, designed not to hook.
She's hoping to use that as little as possible today to try to climb the ladder and get the championship here.
Yeah, it was a little left off the hand, and sometimes your opening shot, you come a little light, you're going to help the second one, and we kind of give a default on the first two frames generally, so the bowlers can kind of get loose and get acclimated to the lights, and then it's game on, Phil.
Absolutely.
So what kind of pattern are the girls bowling on?
It was called Kegel's Beaten Path. It's a lane pattern that's just above sport compliant. So the ladies had to get out there and make pretty good shots today to get the ball to hold. Not a lot of area to spray it like on a league pattern. And the scores showed it only took a 202 average to make the top 6 before the show today. And to make the show, it took about a 211 average. So the quality of these bowlers today, it's showing on the TV show.
Right, and we always talk scoring pace. And, I mean, we want it realistic. You don't want a show where it took 230 average to qualify, because then, it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. We want these bowlers to earn their spot on TV. Quality shot there from Jessica, and an opening double.
And a quick 11-pin lead. Watch that replay here if we get it, and I think we can watch that 6-pin just vacuum the top of the 10 off the deck.
Yeah, very little deflection upon ball entry into the pocket, and there's times that 6-pin is our best friend, and other times it just wraps around that 10.
Yeah, Jessica working fast today. Got it. Kind of a funny story. Got to the tournament just as it was starting today. Her GPS sent her in the wrong direction. She's kind of flustered getting in the door. Hardly got any practice, but just fought her way through it and made the show. And now she's going to have to fight her way past 210.
Just a little light in the pocket. And this makes it a little easier, Phil. When that 4-pin and 8-pin are up, naturally your accuracy must be even better. But what would you say the odds are for this, for Jessica?
Probably a bowler her caliber, probably 50%. She's just going to get that ball to the left of the 2-pin, and that's not going to get there. Slide it over into the 10 would have been the best way to do it. And that's going to give that lead right back to Rochelle going into her after the
kind
third
of
frame.
eats up that opening double, and that's how important it is to fill frames. And Rochelle, being the tournament-tested bowler she is, should pounce on this.
Yeah, she's got 6 Wisconsin State women's titles with herself and her team, the Hammer Girls, and you talked about pouncing.
And she pounced. And you notice after she releases the ball, Phil, her hand comes right back down, and that shows that it's a testament to the looseness in her swing. And the pins know it when you're grabbing it, because they just don't tend to fall as easy.
The ball, yeah, you grab it on the bottom, the ball gets a little spin on its axis, and instead of driving hard, it deflects, and you leave weak 10s or even in some cases 5 pins.
Yeah, she came a little high last time on this lane, and it kind of looked like she did the same thing again, just directed it a little bit. Or is it possible this lane has less oil in the front part of the lane, and the ball is simply grabbing a little bit?
I think it's a little more in the direction. We know 23 is playing tighter tighter we've had here before at New Berlin Bowl on this pair. We use it for a lot of the adult tournament finals, and we've seen 23 get a little tighter, and if you try to force it through the nose, there's a little room to miss left on this pattern, but not a lot.
Yeah, very challenging spare. She converted perfectly.
Maintains herself a 3-pin advantage, getting into Jessica's 4th frame.
And we'll talk a little bit about Jessica on her bio sheet. Home center is River's Edge Bowl, located, I believe, in Janesville.
Janesville, yes, indeed. Very nice center.
And she has 5 300 games to her credit. Opens that shoulder and closes it right before release. Kind of a soft 10.
Yeah, 6 right around the flat gutter, couldn't get back out. We see both players going to polyester spare balls to take the lane out of play.
And Jessica, more of a modern day game in that she opens her right shoulder, which means she's pointing her left shoulder toward the pins right there, and then closes at release. And just a beautiful follow through, Phil.
Yeah, keeps that ball in the lane, tickles the 10 down, stays within 3 pins, and well, High Five Gear offered a $100 bonus if the winner of the Wisconsin Women's Open was wearing a High Five Gear shirt today. Had quite a few High Five Gear shirts in the field, but unfortunately none of the finalists made the TV. None of them made the TV finals, so we're gonna have to save that $100 bonus for next year's event.
And we're both wearing High Five shirts as we speak, and extremely comfortable, lightweight shirts. And they're made out of the, what is it called, Cool Wick material, Phil?
Cool Wick material, and that was a pretty cool strike to get us into the commercial break. And Johnny and I will be back to talk more about our High Five shirts and probably a little bowling after this short commercial break.
Phil done.
One half of our opening match for the 2011 Wisconsin Women's Open in the books. Battling for that $500 top first place prize. Enjoy Rochelle Macke trying to maintain that slim lead.
Yeah, and we kind of figured this match was going to be close. I mean, both girls playing outside lines, down and in. No, I was just going to say no help from the messenger, and she gets help from the messenger.
Little celebration on the way back. Kind of muted, but
and that goes to show you, you don't need the high backswing, high rev rate to throw these pins around. It takes good roll on the ball. And again, not excessive ball speed from Rochelle either.
No, she's in the 17.5, 18 mile an hour ball speed range, and looking to get a double here and extend that lead out to 13 pins.
Well, she's been high on this lane 2 out of 2 times, not that time high flush, and she knows she's going to need a string in this game somewhere because it's just a matter of time before Jessica starts running the table.
Extends that lead out to 13 pins, and Jessica here looking to get back in the match. She's going to need to respond with a double of her own here.
Jessica would like to thank her ball driller, Dan Buckholtz of Diamond Lanes, for drilling her taboo.
Diamond Lane's down in the Beloit area.
Yeah, Hammer Taboo, one of the best asymmetric balls on the market. For those curious, a very strong core, which is like the engine, and a medium strength cover. And what that does, it gives the ball good length and stronger back-end motion in the last 20 feet or so.
Yeah, both of the bowlers using that Hammer Taboo out in the lanes today to help get them to the show.
Stays with her strike ball. Cross lane. Done perfectly. Nobody likes to shoot that spare, do they, Phil?
I can't stand it. I seem to be chopping that spare more often than not nowadays.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy to chop even with a spare ball, it seems, but less likely if we were to take percentages into account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you take that little bit of extra hook off the back end, and you should avoid the chop more often, but sometimes it just doesn't seem that way.
Okay, now she struck last time on this lane. Time before, if you remember, she left the light 210. Pretty much right down board 12. Ends up on board 18. High flush.
Can't throw it any better than that. Keeps herself within 13 pins, but with Rochelle Macke working on a double here, Rochelle could really extend out that lead getting into the last couple frames of the game. Rochelle, high game 299. She's going to get that 300 one of these days, no doubt, especially with the high set of 803 on her bowling resume.
And once she gets her first, there will be many more to follow. I mean, she just has too solid of a fundamental physical game, Phil, and you know the Zawistowski family are, you know, good range. Well, what's the word I'm looking for, Phil?
Good bloodlines?
Good bloodline of quality tournament-tested players. So you'd think the pressure wouldn't get to her.
She's been on TV before. I believe she's made it once before on the All-Star Bowling out of Burlington as well. So she wanted to thank Tony Roventini for all the support he gives with her bowling, and the kids Logan and Kira. Logan, I think he's going to be turning 1 pretty soon.
And she left herself a pretty challenging spare conversion here, Phil. The 2-8. Most bowlers will stay with their strike ball and simply move 2 or 3 boards right with their feet and try and curve it in there a little bit.
Yeah, there is a little oil in the middle on this pattern. It's about a 4-to-1 ratio, inside to out. And then 40 feet in length. There's plenty of room for that ball to hook on the back end, and she picks it up perfectly.
Perfectly done. So now it's going to be up to Jessica here to put a little pressure on her opponent. And this is probably the shot of the match right now, Phil, I would say.
Yeah, double knocks the lead down to 11 pins, and she can get up in the 10th frame and really put a lot of pressure on Rochelle, forcing Rochelle to match what she would do in the 10th. Nice shoulder high backswing, and get it over.
And not a good result. She almost threw that too good. No deflection on the ball, so it chopped the 5 off the 9 in lieu of deflecting. We'll see that right there.
And the 7 was kind of late on that one too.
Yeah, and sometimes our execution is so good, so clean, we don't get that little bit of deflection needed for a strike, and that could be very costly. I see a little Kelly Kulik in her game, don't you, Phil?
Yeah, indeed. The way the ball flows down from the shoulder, from the backswing back through the shot, just nice and fluid. And
right, and neither girl muscles it through the release zone, which is so important in today's game.
Yeah, that quiet shoulder. The ball just swings from the shoulder. It's not the shoulder doesn't force forward when the ball's coming through, and really helps maintain that accuracy as well. That's something everybody can take advantage of. Don't force that shoulder through when you're trying to make a good shot. Just let it happen. Just like that. Can opener.
Just ripped the rack, and you thought that might leave a soft 10, but it had no chance to stand.
Well, Jessica's going to need a little help from Rochelle here to get back in this match. Jessica's maximum score possible is 216, and if Rochelle goes strike, spare, strike off the sheet, she's got 217.
Well, that's it. Rochelle can lock up the match right here. And you can see she's a little further right on that lane on her set down point.
Yeah, 24 is playing a little bit more to the right for both bowlers than 23 is, and well, that's got to help Rochelle keep her swing loose going into the 10th frame, tripping a 4 out like that.
Right, and you know, another 1/4 inch high, that could have been a 410, and this is a whole different match.
Well, a strike here, match is pretty much over.
Right, and she's well aware of it. She left a 2-8 last time up on this lane. A little further right, much better result. Matches hers.
Kicks the 10 out. Going to get her into the semifinal match against a very familiar face in Wisconsin and Illinois bowling, Lisa Vint, our number 2 seed today. Lisa waiting in the wings, and winner of that semifinal match is going to move on to take on our top seed today, Jaime Cullen, top seed for another women's event.
Yeah, you know, we have 4 quality females up here, Phil, and no definitive favorite.
Not at all. Rochelle looking to run that ladder, and boy, she keeps throwing shots like that. She will be tough to stop.
So potential 237 maximum score.
Phil ball, what do? Do you throw it like you just have, or do you try to do maybe a little area check here, considering she struggled on this lane a little bit before she got up in the 10th?
Yeah, I mean, she's struck on 6 of her last 7 shots, so I think she could take a chance and move right or left just to see what's out there.
And it looked like she got that one a little left, and you saw it check it a little early.
Yeah, that ball finished a little deep, and 234 game.
Well, Jessica's going to take home 4th place prize today. Not a bad effort for first time on Wisconsin TV. I know she was a previous champ in the collegiate ranks, wasn't she, Joey?
In 2006, her team won the national championship. No easy task.
Not at all. And if you had 5 bowlers like Jessica on that team, easy to see how that team could win. Looking to finish out strong, shoot a 216, get out the door. I think we'll see Jessica back in our spring event when we bring back our ladies trios tournament. That one we're going to have this year at Lake Geneva Lanes in May. Look for information on that in your local bowling centers after the first of the year.
And doesn't carry the wall shot as the 5 goes to the right, and we all know that is the Steve Grabowski.
Yeah, Steve couldn't get enough work in there, Steve. You got to get that 7-pin out next time.
You know, I mentioned earlier I see a little Kelly Kulik in her game. I see a little Gina Dereshevsky as well with her follow-through. Yep. Right there. Gina does that very, very nicely.
Pops it right up and in. Ends up with a 205 game for 4th place. Rochelle Macke is going to be moving on into our semifinal match against Lisa Vint. Make sure you come back and join us at New Berlin Bowl for that in just a short break.
State-of-the-art lanes. A variety of food and beverage to satisfy your tastes in the ale house or on the lanes. Banquet facilities available for your 2011 holiday parties or 2012 weddings. New Berlin Ale House, Cleveland Avenue, New Berlin.
One match in the books. We're into the semifinal match here from New Berlin Bowl for the 2011 Wisconsin Women's Open as the ladies chase down that $500 first place prize. And Joey, Rochelle Macke coming off a nice 234 game last game.
Yes, and you'd have to give her a slight advantage just being familiar with the pair and, again, striking pretty much at will the second half of the match.
Oh,
and
my.
As I say that, she almost leaves a 4-9, so she'll be doing some adjusting on that lane.
Yeah, she had to sit on the side while Lisa got practice between the matches to get on the lanes, and Lisa could have changed her line just a little bit. It's pretty amazing how quickly these aggressive surface bowling balls can change the oil pattern.
Well, exactly, and Lisa, high rev rate player, just kidding, Lisa. Down and in bowler, just like Rochelle. Solid at the line, track player, a stone 8. Lisa, you're going to have to throw it better than that.
I don't know if you can throw much better than that, Joey. I mean, watching that 5 slice off the 8-pin, that's a tough break to take at the start of a match.
Yeah, you know, when you see a stone 8 and a stone 9, you know the individual threw it about as well as you can throw a ball. And the game is not always fair.
Nope, and Lisa knows that. All the years she bowled on Team USA all over the world back in the 90s and early aughts. She's been all over the world bowling.
Yeah, Lisa's a former Team USA bowler, an international champion. She sent me a little recap of some of her accolades and wins and tournament play. It was 3 pages, Phil.
Yeah, a lot of stuff out there.
And this was just the important stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the one that stuck out for me was kind of funny. The 1987 Peanut Harvest Classic down in Atlanta, Georgia. I thought that was a pretty interesting title for a tournament.
Right, and Lisa probably averaged 260 in that tournament. And she looked like she might be playing that lane a little deeper inside. Carries the Wally.
Yeah, probably was watching both bowlers in the opening match and saw that lane 23 was pretty tight. The ladies didn't use this pair at all today in qualifying or the semifinals. So pretty much an even field for the 4 ladies making the show. Nice balance at the line by Rochelle and packs 10 back.
You knew that off the hand, Phil. There's times the bowler as well as us, or the viewer, can just tell when it's going to be a perfect shot. And, you know, it's timing, it's rhythm. I mean, unless it's a solid 8 or solid 9, but...
Yeah, eases it off the hand nice. Just let the ball do the work down the lane and gets herself out to an early 10-pin lead.
We saw Lisa in the background not watching her opponent. She has a tendency to do that. She doesn't want to be influenced by a good or bad break her opponent may get. Not a good or bad break there, just a quality shot from Rochelle, and Lisa's going to need to put on those striking shoes.
Yeah, and you know, it's got to be in the back of Lisa's mind a little bit, knowing that your opponent just came off a 2:30 game under the TV lights, and even with Lisa's resume, Rochelle's not going to be intimidated out there.
Now Lisa using a hammer Midnight Vibe, which is one of her tamer pieces, which allows her to play a little more down and in, and she thought she missed it a little bit right of target.
Well, we know that lane 24 is hooking a little bit more than 23, and I think she took full advantage of it there. Ball did leak a little right on her at start, and
so does that make up for the solid 8?
I think it makes up for the solid 8.
I mean, it does.
She had the wry smile coming back.
Right, and you know, we as bowlers always remember the bad breaks, much more so than the good breaks, but let's see if Lisa can take advantage of this.
Can pull herself back to even in the match with another strike, and that's pretty nice off the hand. And, oh my, twice in 4 frames.
I mean, that just doesn't happen, Phil. I mean, and each tap between strikes is a 21-pin loss for the bowler that you can't get back.
And you hear Lisa right there trying to, you know, make a little light of the situation. Hey, I want more airtime, but you know that 2 of those in 4 frames is really got to be eating at her a little bit right now. 4 great shots and only 2 strikes to show for it. And you can't blame the pin setters. You can't blame a pin being off spot because it's 1 on each lane.
Right. Well, you can, but it would be fruitless. Now Rochelle, again, with a little cushion here, even though Lisa did double. We'll see if she can keep her string going.
Yeah, looking to extend that lead out to 21 pins. Want to thank EFX Bowling for their support of this event as well. A $50 bonus if a bowler is wearing an EFX product while they win the tournament today, and rattles around and just a little left out of the hand.
Yeah, it almost seemed like she just kicked up the speed a little bit and possibly drew the ball a little left because of that.
So 6-10, I'm sure we're going to see her switch to her polyester ball to make this. You want to take that chop out of play? She doesn't.
And that's rare. Well, but again, when there's heavy oil volume in the middle, Phil, you might not always need to, and it's possible with her spare ball she may have chopped it. So
yep.
She made the right call. She made the spare.
Covers it nicely, maintains a 9-pin lead, getting in the last shot before our commercial break for this game, and 2 for 2 so far in this lane. This lane, lane 23, was kind of her bugaboo in match number 1, and she seems to have solved the riddle.
Well, early in the match, you're correct, but she made some adjustment either with her feet or target or hand position at release, and she's kind of got the nut right here, Phil. And there it is again.
10 straight back in the pit, a great way to get into the commercial break, and join Joey and I back from New Berlin Bowl to finish off the semifinal match in just a couple of moments. Half of our semifinal match in the books. Rochelle Macke with a 9-pin lead, and Lisa Vint trying to bounce back off of a couple of bad breaks in her opening frames, Joey.
Yeah, 2 heartbreakers in 4 shots, and she did strike last time on this lane after her opening solid 8-pin. And that's just, I'd have to give that a solid 10, Phil.
Yeah, that 6-pin's not laying in the flat gutter. It was a little low going around the 10, but it could have gotten it rattling around. You're going to see in the replay here. It makes a little effort back at it and just stops a little short.
Yeah, half the time it's going to nudge that 10 over, but not this time. And Lisa not having the most of luck here early in the match. And no trouble with the spare conversion.
Yeah, and Lisa in the past, she's bowled matches here at New Berlin Bowl in the past. We had Wisconsin's Best Challenge a few years ago, and probably a match she should have won. Knows it got away from her, and against Katie Saffold, and I think she's looking for a little revenge against the ghosts of New Berlin Bowl in this match.
And she doesn't watch her opponent, and in that match, if I remember correctly, her opponent didn't hit the pocket but 1 shot.
And that was the 12th ball.
and Lisa hit it all but 1.
Yes.
And you lose, and it doesn't make sense, it's not fair, and now that was probably Lisa's only bad shot so far. She just didn't catch it at the bottom, and 2-pin conversion. Should be no trouble.
Yeah, Lisa's spare game, watching her bowl, and the AMF 3-Star Masters at Bolero on Wednesday nights. She's always making those spares. You rarely see an open frame on her sheet unless it's a split.
Right, and she typically will use her Hammer Axe, which is a hard polyester ball.
The good old above180.com website, podcasts extraordinaire with you and Tim Berg.
Yes, and our recent interviewee, Chad Source, UWM head coach, and their team just won their last tournament they bowled in.
Yep, the Titan Invitational up in Oshkosh, and another tough field. We saw both the UWM teams, men's and women's, on the Red Bull Collegiate Classic earlier this season from New Berlin Bowl here. And yeah, Chad telling everybody, what it takes to get a collegiate program going, especially at the club level, trying to get the financing from the school and everything else.
Right, and it is
it's
no
tough.
easy task, especially in the economy the way it is nationally. Hard to get sponsors.
Absolutely. Oh, cross lane at the 4-pin for Rochelle, and that is a surprise.
That is a rare miss, and that helps Lisa.
1-pin lead for
And
Lisa
we
now.
have a almost tie match. Like you said, Lisa with a 1-pin edge.
Bowlers Pro Shop, bpsmilwaukee.com. High school hotties column coming out again pretty soon with all the good high school bowlers in the area, I see.
And that's it. We invite all of our high school customers that come into BPS to send us their credentials as well as a picture. And we'll choose one at random to be our high school hottie on the webpage. And we have a lot of nice links on there. A little bit about the Pro Shop history. I mean, we've been in business since 1973. Again, we have our sales listed on there. We have a Friends of BPS, all the bowling centers in the Milwaukee area that are friends of ours that you should frequent.
Yep. Great links to other sites like Phantom Radio, I know, is on there. Above 180, the link for Above
Definitely.
180 is down there.
Bowler's
So
Journal. We also have a link on the side where our BPS show-offs, we list all of our customers who shoot either honor scores or high scores for their individual games. So if you shoot 100 pins over your average, send Joey an email and we'll post it on our website.
get it on there as a show-off. Lisa Vint looking to try to show off here and get a double to keep this lead.
Yeah, and she's, again, she got a little wide there, Phil, and she'd like to take that one back.
Yeah, you can see there is oil on the outside of the lane. It's not your league shot out here, and that ball hung a good 3 or 4 feet past the break point of what she wanted, and lucky to, just leave the 2-4-10. She could have left the 8 back there with it as well.
Right, and Lisa did choose to use a rather tame ball, and sometimes that tame ball will give you some miss room left of target, but not right.
And with that open, hands the lead back to Rochelle Macke by 13 pins with 3 frames to go, and Lisa needs to get those striking shoes on. She's been around the pocket most of the day. Her first real errant shot right there.
Yeah, she's at a 2-pin light and then the 2-4-8, but again, back to back. So are the lanes getting tighter, or is Lisa just missing her target a little right? But nothing wrong with that shot, Phil.
No, and you can definitely see she's probably 8 or 9 boards left on lane 23 from where she's playing on lane 24, and that's just packing 10 pins straight back in the pit.
Might have been a bad rack. She didn't leave a solid 8 or solid 9.
She might agree with you on that one. Well, Rochelle here, 3 frames to go in the lead. A double here in the 8th and 9th would really put the pressure on Lisa. And
Left off the hand again, and these lanes are changing, Phil.
lucky to just leave that 3-pin. Going through the nose like that, she almost left the 3-4. You can see the replay here. That 4-pin goes kind of late.
Yeah,
Something that would be
an
unusual.
leave, a 3-4, and Rochelle did come high last time on this lane with a 4-pin, so these girls are so accurate. They're beating up that spot on the lane, and that oil will not be there after 20 shots.
Yeah, it may take a move by one of them here the last 2 frames in order to take a win and get into that final match against Jaime Cullen for that $500 first place prize. I want to thank our sponsor again, Mark Dempsey, Barbier's Italian Inn on Blue Mound. Don't forget Barbier's Italian in South Milwaukee as well on Milwaukee Avenue. Best pizza in the area.
Love the garlic bread, love the lasagna. It's all good, and it helps keep you and I both comfortably about 20 pounds overweight.
At least for me. Looking to set up that foundation frame, and you can't throw it better than that, Joey.
No, and again, that 9th frame is a key frame, and Lisa at a disadvantage here score-wise, but with that strike up in the 8th, if she strikes here, It's only a 2-pin match.
If she can strike out 223, which would force Rochelle to strike out for 225.
I must correct myself. My math is wrong. If she strikes here, she potentially can take the lead, showing the importance of stringing strikes and not leaving solid 8s and 9s.
Much better off the hand than last time on that lane, but can't quite get the 4 out.
Yeah, and that lane is breaking down a little bit, and it's Lisa's first, let's say, relatively high shot in the pocket. So she's make the spare.
And then she's going to have to strike out in the 10th to have any chance of putting pressure on Rochelle. Covers it up nicely.
Yeah, you can't always bank on your opponent opening, because these girls don't open too often.
No.
Once a game, maybe. They're going to be in the pocket pretty much every shot.
Yeah, if Lisa strikes out 203, if Rochelle went spare strike in the 10th, 205, so it's
Right.
nothing but strikes here for Lisa in order to give any chance for herself in this match.
She did strike last time on this
Ooh.
lane.
Way over the top of that one. And almost gets a break. Nope, that 9's going to stand.
No, and yeah, a little frustration there from Lisa. You can just sense it. So she'll convert this spare, I would assume.
Going right after that 9-pin, switches that plastic ball, and that's going to need help to hold, and it doesn't do it. And that just handed the match to Rochelle.
Yeah, well, it was mathematically, you're right. I mean, Rochelle would have needed a bad count and miss.
Yeah.
Kind of a heartbreaking loss there, especially those early taps for Lisa. But she'll rebound.
I think she will. 3rd place finish, and I know she does a lot. Lisa does a lot for bowling. Windy City Bowling News for her and her husband Bill.
Silver level coach.
They were inducted as the first business into the Illinois Bowling Hall of Fame this season. So
That's interesting. And another high shot on that right lane, Phil. So we're going to pay attention on that lane come the title match.
yeah, and with Jaime Cullen coming on and getting some shadow balls on each of the lanes before it starts, could leave Rochelle a little bit of a surprise on what she's going to get into those first 2 frames on this pair.
All right, well, Jaime can hook it a little bit more, so she may play a little deeper on this lane than Rochelle may. Looking at Lisa's bio sheet again, I should mention that she is an author of 7 300 games and a fine small 803.
Yes, indeed. And all the Team USA accolades, all the accolades we can get to on here. We'll have to get Lisa to create a website for that, I think.
A fan page
A
on
fan
Facebook.
page. Yes, indeed. So, Rochelle, if she can strike here, 205, that'll get her into the final match.
She kicked up the speed a little bit trying to hold line, but she's going to have her hands full next match.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of the Titans for our final match. Rochelle Macke versus Jaime Cullen for the Wisconsin Women's Open title. Make sure you come back to New Berlin Bowl and join Joey and I for that match after this short break.
I have a lot of viewers that ask me, why do you have so many of your tournaments at Castle Lanes? Well, Castle Lanes is a center that has an exceptional atmosphere. The charm of being in the Northwoods cabin while you bowl, an attentive staff on the lanes and in the lounge, all the big screen TVs and a free Wi-Fi hotspot, and being named in Bowler's Journal as one of the 95 places to bowl before you die, you have to bowl at Castle Lanes. That's why we love Castle Lanes, and you will too. Barbiere's, a Milwaukee institution since 1963. Great Italian food for dine-in or carry-out, and great times for your family and friends. Barbiere's, in the heart of South Milwaukee, and near Miller Park on Blue Mound Road.
The championship match from New Berlin Bowl, the Wisconsin Women's Open, the 2011 edition. And Joey, tough to pick a winner in this match. Jaime Cullen, last time we saw her, 2nd place in the Dairyland Ladies Classic, 2nd place in the Ladies of Hammer Trios last year. Rochelle Macke, 2nd place in the 2009 Badger Queens. Someone's getting their first TV title today.
Yeah, and you'd have to almost install Jaime as the veteran due to her extensive TV play.
Yeah, she's made 5 of our television shows over the last 5 years, and pretty good track record, including last year's Action Heating Shootout, where she finished in 2nd place in that, bowling against all the guys.
Yeah, more second places than I'm sure she'd care to have. And no trouble with the conversion with a different ball. And again, both girls are going to have to make some adjustment from what we've seen in the opening couple matches, Phil, because we know that right lane has a burn area or a dry spot that's been developed right in that track.
So
Let's see if Rochelle moves in. Stays on the outside line, kicks up the speed, similar to what she did with Phil's shot in the 10th, and back-to-back ring 10s on that lane with that strategy.
Yeah, and that's just a tough break to take. That 6-pin just goes warp speed around the base of that 10, and boy, a quarter-inch any direction there, and that 10-pin gets out. Switches to that brightly colored spare ball. No problem covering it up.
Perfectly done. Just a little bit of hook on the back end due to the core strength in that Taboo plastic. Hammer ran a special this month, Phil, where if you bought a new Taboo, you got a free spare ball.
Nice little bonus to get. And there's a lot of the companies out there right now. If you're looking to buy new equipment, Joey, this is the time to do it. Hammer's got that free ball. There's a lot of rebates out there going on.
Brunswick's had a number of rebates, and I'm sure there's a few more to come before the holiday season. We always run a Christmas special through December and halfway through January for those looking to save a little money on some products.
And there's a nice strike by Rochelle in the second frame. Jaime, the author of 12 300 games, a high series of 802. She was the Badger Queens champion the first year we did the Badger Queens in Fond du Lac in 2007. Rochelle was the second place finisher the last time they had the Queens in 2009. There was no 2010 edition, unfortunately. Maybe they'll get a 2011 edition going or a 2012 edition. We'll have to keep updated on that. And oh my, the trip 4-9.
And a good shot. And again, Jaime won't have any trouble moving left on that lane as the shot breaks down a little bit, whereas we'll see if Rochelle follows suit. But it almost appears though that's the key on that right lane, Phil.
Yep. And talking to our friend Eric Pearson, you can see him in the background there. We talked to him before the match, and Eric kind of gave the advantage to Jaime a little bit going into this match because Eric said he thought her ball roll matched up a little bit better than Rochelle's on this pattern. And if there's somebody that knows lane patterns, it's Eric Pearson.
Eric Pearson, father of Alyssa and Chris Pearson, husband of Denise. And he's a phenomenal lane man. He's worked at Kegel over the years and USBC, in charge of lane conditioning at both national tournaments for men and women.
Yeah, he was here observing today. He was hoping that Alyssa would have been home from school to get it in bowl, but Alyssa, that busy college bowler down at Lindenwood, and Chris, he's a busy college bowler at Robert Morris in Chicago. And
well, we're seeing that early friction again for Rochelle, and speed can only do so much to hold the ball on line. It appears as though she should move left with her feet and target, and that may not be her A game, Phil.
Yeah,
we all have our comfort zone, and obviously the more experienced a bowler we become, the easier it is for us to make adjustments with feet and target.
I'm sure she's going to end up talking about that lane after she bowls on 23, or she'll go back and talk to her boyfriend Tony Roventini and take what he observes, and he's always helping her out with her game. And I know that she works with Bill Montz, who's a phenomenal coach, USBC gold level coach. A lot of the Hammer girls, her sister Roxanne and Shannon Levinsky, both work with him as well.
Well, again, we have to listen to the lane and give what the lane is telling us, and with our adjustments. The key is listening properly, and she doesn't have to do much on that lane. She's just 10 back.
Twice in a row, 10 back. Keeps herself within 10 pins, getting into Jaime's fourth frame here. And all right, Joey, you just can't get those pins to fall prettier than that right there. Once again, I want to thank our hosts here at New Berlin Bowl for hosting the 2011 Wisconsin Women's Open. Looks like we're going to be here again in 2012 as well. So if you're looking for a place to have a fun family event or corporate outing, get everybody on the lanes bowling, give Kevin Frew a call at New Berlin Bowl, and he will get you set up with all you need. And she is tripping 4-9s like it's not a problem.
And again, that's instead of open, it's strike. But that's good roll on the ball, Phil. But I think Jaime's going to have to cheat those feet in just a little bit, because eventually the 4-9 may stand.
Yep. Jaime's going to have to make a little move because that AMF grip apparently is gripping the lanes a little too much on the back end right now.
Yeah, that's a high friction ball, plenty of hook, and I'm sure Jaime wants to thank Lenny Borsch for drilling that ball for her. Lenny, good friend of ours.
Yes, indeed. Lenny going to be a new USBC National Hall of Famer. Him and his teammate Gary Darashevsky going in the 2012 class for outstanding USBC tournament performance, and about 10 titles between the two of them at the USBC Nationals. I know there's 6 for Gary for sure, and I think Lenny's got 4.
Easily, sure.
So Jaime wanted to thank her husband Patrick for all his support getting her out here to bowling, and her kids Ryan, Riley, Hunter, and always wanted to thank Grandpa Oljeski, all the help he gave over the years before he passed away a couple years back.
And Grandpa forever in our hearts and our minds, and a good spare conversion for Jaime. And
a tight match getting into the last half. Join Joy and I back from New Berlin Bowl for the rest of this championship in just a moment. The final 5.5 frames from New Berlin Bowl for the 2011 Wisconsin Women's Open title and that $500 first place prize. And Joey, Rochelle, Macke has got her work cut out with 5 frames to go.
it's put up or shut up time. She needs this one. She gets it, Phil. So instead of being down 19, she's within 10, and that's where you need to be at the halfway point.
Absolutely, and with another strike, she could actually take the lead by a stick. Watch that 5-pin do its job, taking out the 7. She knows that was a crucial shot for her.
Right, and that was the tough lane of the two, it appears, because it's got that early hook spot, so she made the right adjustment.
Looking to take the lead in the 6th frame.
Going back on the good lane.
Looks like a good shot out of her hand and kicks that 10 out.
Can't throw it much better than that. Make her family proud.
Yep, you see her sister Roxanne back there watching. Leslie Siegel back there.
Kind of a 1-pin lead. It's close, and we know these girls can string them.
Nothing better than an exciting championship match brought to you again by New Berlin Bowl. I want to thank the staff here for all their hosting help. Another great event placed by them. Flip of the ponytail by Jaime and scrambles it all up.
Here is the Steve Grabowski, and that's a critical shot with only 4 frames left. Every strike very important. And it's, again, especially when your opponent has found something, a little turkey.
And you can tell how important it is to both these women on getting this title in their resume. You know, both times, the last times they were both on television, 2nd place finishes, and they want to get over the hump and get that championship going. Simple 5 steps. Flips through real nice.
Little left off the hand, Phil, but still caught that 6-pin into the 10.
And that strong roll with a strong bowling ball equals 10 back in the pit for Jaime, and she retakes that lead.
Yeah, and Rochelle here on her bio sheet, Phil, 6 state titles. 1 is impressive.
Yeah.
6 is unbelievable.
Yeah,
5 city titles.
Yeah, with her sister Roxanne being in the Hall of Fame, I think Rochelle's time is going to be coming within the next year or two if the voters do what they should. There's no doubt about that. And I think both these young ladies, Jaime as well, will be another one with getting inducted into their local and state halls of fame, hopefully in a short period of time.
Exactly. You can't do much more than they've been doing. And again, lane 24, we saw it earlier, and we see it here, that early hook spot.
And probably about a 70% chance of making this. That sleeper 9-pin really is going to make this spare conversion tough. She needs a break and doesn't get it.
Yeah, there's times you need some deflection, and you almost have to use your strike ball on that, Phil, because your spare ball will not carry through and carry out that 9-pin.
Yep. Next telecast you'll see from Motion Plus Lanes in Cudahy, the Action Heating Shootout. Always a great show, and I'm sure we'll have some quality bowlers. Might even see Jaime make that show again as well.
Should be a full field.
Absolutely. I think they're talking to Kerry the other day. I think they were turning entries away. They were full. So he's running some great tournaments out of Motion Plus Lanes in Cudahy, and another great shot by Rochelle.
Yeah, a good bounce back shot, and she knows her potential maximum score is 235 with all strikes.
And if Jaime were to go spare strike off the rest of the sheet, that would put Jaime in the 220s. So this shot here in the 8th frame for Jaime is huge. This could really be a big tide changer.
Well, she's, had a tendency to come a little higher on this lane, as has other bowlers, and she's playing that inside line, Phil. She got away with that, and that doesn't salt the match away, but it puts her in a good position.
Absolutely. Up 34 pins with 2 frames to go, and I'll tell you what, when you're tripping 4s, like this is probably the 4th shot we've seen her trip a 4-pin in the championship match.
At least 3, and that's not luck. I mean, that's good roll on the ball, and it's more that forward roll that'll trip a 4, where when you put too much side rotation, you're going to leave the 4 or the 4-9.
Well, if she can strike out here, she'd be looking at a game in the 260s.
She definitely
Ooh.
pulled that and avoids the split, and that is huge, Phil, because a big split there puts Rochelle right back in it. Now Jaime can spare this and still shoot 230, 240.
Yeah, instead of giving 25 or 30 pins back on a big split, she only gives 11 pins back to Rochelle if Rochelle can throw a double in the ninth frame, assuming she makes a spare.
And no black cloud this time. She converts it easily.
We put black clouds over bowlers when they're shooting single pins. We've never done that, Joey.
Well, I have a few friends of mine that wager on football, and they can stop a team's winning streak real quickly by just putting $10 on that team.
Well,
Okay, Rochelle on a strike. This is basically for the match, Phil.
and the 235 maximum score is now gone.
And again, that lane we knew would be the deciding factor in the match. And no matter how hard she tried to throw it firmer, the ball wanted to read the lane.
Well, if she can spare here and strike out, she can shoot 215. I mean, realistically, Jaime just has to get up and throw a good count first ball in the 10th frame in order to win the match. As you said, Joey, that was pretty much the match right there in frame number 9.
Right, and I'm sure Rochelle is going to look back on that right lane and maybe rethink things, her strategy, what she could have done differently. Because, I mean, her bad shots were never wide of the pocket. They were definitely high. And Jaime playing a little deeper on that lane was fortunate to trip out the fours. But again, she played the lanes a little bit better playing into the oil pattern.
That looks like a good shot off of her hand and kicks that 10 out now.
Yeah, if 24 was like lane 23, we'd see 260s and 270s out here, Phil.
So with that, Rochelle Mackey's going to take home second place money, $200. Still not a bad day on the lanes. I'm sure she'll be using that for Christmas presents for her son and daughter, Logan and Kira.
Well, or another new ball for herself. One way or the other.
Looking to finish out strong. Needs a little help to come up. Almost gets...
Almost carries the light mixer, but I see on her bio sheet she would like to thank those at Pro World Pro Chef for drilling her equipment.
Craig Mueller and good driller up there.
And,
Marty
it's-
Lemmerman, too. Another.
Right, and it's a partnership between the bowler and the driller. You need good drilling, you need good execution from the bowler, you need good equipment.
And a lot of practice, and we know that Rochelle and Jaime both put in a lot of practice time to get to the level that they're at today.
Yeah, there's very few shortcuts to become as good a bowler as these two are. You have to put the time in, the effort. You need videotape to analyze your game, and you definitely need balls that are drilled to suit your game for the way you throw it.
Rolls up strong, and once again, kicks another
trip
four.
And we'll see if she moves in on the second shot here. But again, tripping fours, a strike is a strike. No such thing as an ugly strike.
Exactly, and I think next time it comes to picking a bowler in a match, I'm going to make sure to look to Eric Pearson about ball roll, because you seem to have it down with Jamie's ball roll being a little bit more suited to the condition. And
Well, either her ball roll or the fact, she had an easier time playing inside a little bit more on that pattern. And there's the soft 10, but it doesn't matter. Jamie's our winner. 238 with a conversion.
$500 first place prize money. The Wisconsin Women's Open Championship title, another one to add to the resume for Jaime. And she's finally got the TV monkey off her back. Gets that first one on TV. You see the smile coming back. Little relief in her eyes there and in her smile. And it's all done but the handshakes. Joy and I are going to be back from New Berlin Bowl to wrap this Wisconsin Women's Open up in just a couple of moments. "28 state-of-the-art lanes. A variety of food and beverage to satisfy your tastes in the ale house or on the lanes. Banquet facilities available for your 2011 holiday parties or 2012 weddings. New Berlin Ale House, Cleveland Avenue, New Berlin." Well, Joey, Rochelle Mackey climbed the ladder, got into that final match, had a great look most of the day till the end of that semifinal, and then it kind of bit her in the final match.
Yeah, I mean, it was her title, You know, I mean, she's bowling Jaime, and granted, Jamie's a great player, knows how to read those lanes. That right lane kind of did Rochelle in a little bit. She read the change and tried to counteract it with ball speed, and that might not have been the best of moves.
Of course, that's not the end of the bowling action we've got coming to you on Time Warner Cable Sports 32, thanks to our friends there. Next tournament from Motion Plus Lanes and Cut A, the Action Heating Shootout.
And some newcomers coming to the screen, and some youth with talent.
It's going to be another great TV finals. As always, we bring them to you. From my friend Joey Serrar, I'm Phil Bradlow. Parents, take the kids bowling even though it's the holidays because they'll have fun for life.